So this is my first time doing kind of like a live rendition, and I'm going to be pulling up some video references where I'll be mentioning other YouTubers who have reviewed these headphones. So be prepared for the worst. This is my first time doing this. So the DT48 series, they are definitely an interesting set of cans. They have such weird qualities to each and every single one, and there hasn't been a video yet that covers the DT48As, the DT48s, and the DT48es all in one video. So here I have all three of the cans. We have the A's over here on the right, which are not labeled DT48As. We have the DT48Ss, which is actually labeled there, DT48s. Sorry, the camera's not focusing too well. And we also have the DT48es. These are a lot more common, super easy to find and get your hands on. All three of these cans are using the same DT48s pads, not the original DT48a pads or the DT48 pads, which were just rubber circles. I'm not as informed as other individuals, so that's why I kind of wanted to mention or reference them. So in this video here from funkyspacecar, titled Beyerdynamic DT48 headphones, how to change ear pads, I tried to record a video of myself doing an ear pad change on DT48Ss that I have here. These are brand new pads. They're actually a little bit old-ish. They had the older label. I'm going to bring that out for you guys real quick. Right here is the old label, the old style Beyerdynamic logo, which really hasn't changed too much, but they have been trying to transition to what is on the Tigers. As you can see here, here's the old versus the new label. You can still buy the pads from them. Apologies that I won't have some B-roll footage, but again, from funkyspacecar, you guys will be able to get that little help. You can see in that little video over there that there's that adhesive that kind of sticks, because this is using some adhesive design that sticks with this like really hard plastic plate. And you have to clean that out if you're going to try to get these pads on there. They're a little difficult to pull out if they're cold. Heat it up with a heat gun, or if you have something like a hair dryer, you can heat up the adhesive, it gets sticky again, and you can just clean it with a cloth, blah, blah, blah. We also have here a reference to InnerFidelity. InnerFidelity also covers these headphones. He has a few videos out there. I've watched a few of his videos. Please check him out. He also covers the DT48es. Another reference, of course, to Aumkar Chandan. DT48a and DT48e reference here. He covers the DT48as, which he gets from Bubba Ice. And also what's really cool is that we do have Bubba Ice under the YouTube name Ian F. Ffield. He covers the DT48es here in his video, Beyerdynamic DT48 Headphones Review Audiophile. So those are all the reference I wanted to make to other YouTubers who have covered these headphones. If you want to check them out, please do. They probably have, again, a better informed opinion and better informed technical doodly-doos, whatever the hell is going on with these headphones that I probably do not understand. But from what I can kind of get the gist of from their videos is that these headphones are super popular within the community of audiophiles. Alike, DT48es, again, are the most common headphone. The DT48s is coming in second, and the DT48a is coming in last. You're never going to be seeing the A's listed on eBay very commonly, so if you do see them, and they have the pads like mine did, really jump on that train. I'm just going to quickly mute my phone. But yeah, I picked up first the DT48es from a local, well, I would say within region seller on eBay. He was selling his pair of DT48es from Quebec, and I got really lucky when I picked these up. They are 200 ohms. It's labeled right and left. Sadly, my left cup is scratched off, which really makes me sad. These have pretty fresh pads on them. I'm going to say that it is the new iteration. There's a difference between the new and the old, which I'll cover in a bit. There's also this pleather material, headphone padding, or head strap padding, which is super soft and comfortable. And from the design of the framework here, it uses these lock nut bolts, which are a size 9/32. So make sure you're prepared to get the tool set out if you need to make some adjustments. They have reasonably big pads, okay? And that driver is metal. So what's really stupid about these is that they get super duper warm. All of them get super duper warm. You wear them on your head, they will get sweat in there. I get so scared when I take these off and there's sweat build up right in the middle of the driver. It gets a little annoying. I get super scared of moisture getting in these and possibly breaking them, but so far, so good. If you look at Boba Ice's video of his DT48es, the cables are in a different orientation. In the same case for InnerFidelity. Mine, from the previous owner, I think redid the cabling and all that kind of stuff. So what's really interesting is that it is a dual entry that he did for these, which is the same, I think, design that they originally were. But if you look at Boba Ice's video, the cables are actually going right through, they're going right through the headband there, which is super duper interesting compared to mine, where it's just coming out from the bottom. So I'm guessing that depending on who you get your DT48es from, they may have done a little bit of work on them to make it more easier. It does come with a coiled cable, which is the original, and I think the end adapter has been aftermarket. It's been redone. It comes with a what's it called? A screw-on 1/4-inch adapter, which is gold-plated with this kind of green ring style that's very similar on Sony headphones. In terms of the sound, I'm just going to say right away that these are the muffled boys out of all of them. They have some weird mid stuff going on. I really do agree with InnerFidelity. There's something going on with these that I personally don't like too much. But I have to say though, as my first can in a reference comparing to the S's and the A's, these can get you by. If you want a pair of DT48s, this E is really not that bad. I am so upset though. These will typically come with a box. I found a listing on eBay that did sell. I really wanted to buy it. It was hella cheap, around the same price I paid for these, but it came with the box. And another thing too to keep in mind is that this plastic here that's actually sandwiching the two metal pieces for the headband and the yoke system was white. If you get them white, it's clean and not kind of yellow or muddied kind of green. They were really well taken care of. But nonetheless, the guy who sold these to me took really good care of them as well, and I'm very welcome to the additions of the mods that he did for the cable feeding and etc. Super awesome pair. Now the S's. These are the most recent addition to my collection. I had the E's and the A's first, and I never had the S's to compare in the middle. The S's I think were made by some popular guy or whatever who really favored the DT48s, so that's why there's that S. I totally forgot who they stand for. Apologies. Made in Germany, it says here on the side. It also says 25 ohms, and is DT48s over there, and it says Bear. Again, a super interesting headphone indeed. The drivers or the housing is machined aluminum, I believe, full metal again. Mine are a little bit bent. There's not really a lot of clamping force on these compared to my E's, which is kind of upsetting. As you can kind of tell, going from the E's, the S's, then the A's, the clamping force really kind of lessens. And it's just really due to time. So you can see here that there is that breaking in, or you can stretch the band throughout the headphones to make it comfortable and fit your head. These S's, I think, actually fit my head very, very nicely. They're just the right amount of clamping force. And the sound, though. Let's just get to the sound real quick. They sound amazing. I think these are one of the smoothest headphones in the lineup. So if you want a more common or a more familiar sound, you might prefer getting S's. Let's just put it at that. In terms of the cabling, it's the same design as the A's, where it's got like this weird stringy textured cable. You can't really see that there, apologies, but it's very similar to the AKGs. The adapter, or not adapter, but the 1/4-inch head here typically gets oxidized, just like on AKGs from the 70s. The Austrian monitors, for instance, they get oxidized, so they have to be replaced. Luckily enough for me, All three of mine have been replaced. I don't think this is the original cable. There's no doubt about that in my mind that this is not the original cable. It's too new. It's too tight. A very weird, interesting fact, though, for the headband here is that the material is different. You can kind of tell here that for this kind of like pleather or fake material, it definitely doesn't look like leather. This one looks like leather. It's like texturized, but on this one it isn't. It's just nice and smooth. And what I like about that is that it's a lot more easier to clean. I'm a lot less scared. Ripping this, it feels a lot more substantial, and it's a lot more softer. And I feel, even though this was left outside my house, and I live in Canada, these are left outside my house in the cold, I'm surprised that this didn't stiffen up. The only thing that did stiffen up, though, were the pads. I'm going to take the pads and show you real quick what happened to them. Here's the original pad that came on my S's. They ripped. They were already ripped in the ad. I was hoping that they'd survive by the time they got here, but oh well, they were destroyed. And I kind of destroyed the other one too when I was pulling it out. But that actually is super important just to show you. If you do have one of these plastic back casings here, again, that's the adhesive that sticks onto the driver. If you didn't crack it like I did when I was taking it off, you actually can reuse this. They are two separate pieces. The foams on the inside were actually in superb condition. They typically don't see a lot of action on your head. The only ones that really make contact are actually the pads themselves on the outside. So these would actually just fit right inside here. And you have the pad itself. And as you can see here, you can actually remove them. So if you need to replace them, as long as the pad on the inside here, like the adhesive is in good condition, and this isn't ripped or anything, you can actually just replace strictly just a pad. So that's some really cool nitpick things I need to point out there. Again, the E's are a lot more newer than the S's, but the S's sound a lot more smoother. Don't know what it is, but they do to me. I really love listening to my typical reference songs on Spotify. Are typically Michael Jackson's Rock With You, Slow by Uatsu. Home, he wrote, I think it's Pikesies by Home, and also All Above and Resonance. Sunray, I listened to a song by him called San Francisco Street. And recently, Casey Lee Williams sings Time to Say Goodbye. So I listen to those songs very often when listening to different headphones. And I have to say that these sound just so smooth. Now the A's. The cable's the exact same, but it's black compared to the S's. It's the exact same kind of cable. We have here again a replaced 1/4 inch head here. The difference for the A's is that you can find these with the original headband, again on Aumkar Chandan's video, which is, I'm always referencing the wrong ones right here. On his, he doesn't have the thick pad. Mine, I do. I don't know if that was because the owner actually added this pad or got the hanger or the headphone strap from a DT48s or a DT48e. I'm not too sure. But for all intents and purposes, it's made it more comfortable. If you had just the strap in that little thin piece of leather or whatever protective thing to make sure it's not just metal on your head, I think it would have been more uncomfortable. Again, these are the most used out of the 3 headphones in my collection, but the design is basically the same. These are running 5 ohms though compared to the 25 ohms of the S and the 200 ohms of the E's. We have here on the right this kind of like burgundy red. It does say Germany 5 ohms, and it also says DT48 and Beyerdynamic there. And then we also have this kind of like blue, teal, greenish blue color. Almost looks like galvanized steel. 5 ohms, again, Germany, DT48. These also adjust the same way as the other 2 headphones. Sound. You don't listen to music with these. They are definitely one of those headphones where they were meant to measure and they were meant to do something else, something sciencey, out of my league. Okay, these headphones were not meant for music, but if you listen to music on these, they sound dry, they sound disgusting, but I love it. It's super close to that kind of reference sound, I would say. But there's a lot of clarity, there's a lot of fidelity. It's beautiful. These headphones are amazing out of the 3 here. Now, for closed back headphones, they definitely do suffer from the same thing that is mentioned by boba ice, and that is just strictly, it just doesn't have soundstage. There's no soundstage for these headphones. It's super duper tight. It's super duper narrow. So if you don't really like that, you may not like this series. Another thing to really mention too is that in a video, again, from InnerFidelity, he mentions a little bit about the mid-range. There is something wrong with the mid-range on these headphones, but strictly the E's. The E's suffer the most, I think. Again, there's like that muffled noise, and there's also some kind of thing going on with the S's. Again, I really love the mids and the highs on the A's. These just topple these two by a landslide, and the S's just make the E's just look like yesterday's lunch. Now, pads. Something I wanted to say. There is a difference between the pads, new and old. These, again, with that old label, they actually don't really, what's it called? They don't kind of like extend or expand back to their original shape very easily compared to the newer pads. You can kind of tell which one's the newer pad strictly from the edges here. I think it's maybe because they're worn. That might be why it's a little bit more easy for them to extend, but they just are a lot more softer. These are definitely the newer pads. And then if you have new pads, but they're the older label, they are a little more stiffer. Again, I think it's just because they're not broken in, but the leather's a lot more tight on these. You can kind of see it there. And also, they're just ridiculously weird. They just, again, they hold their shape, and then it takes a while for them to extend back, as you can see there, compared to the E's. So I'm kind of thinking that it might be just due to the fact they're not broken in. Clamp force, again, if you get an original pair that hasn't really seen lots of war, it will be super tight on your head, so you may want to stretch them out, or again, over time, like the S's here, just wear them over and over again, and sooner or later they will just break into your head, and they'll be the proper clamping force. All of these headphones I plugged into the Magni 3 headphone amplifier on low gain. I typically don't need to really blast them past 12 o'clock. Maybe if I want a little more volume, because I'm probably going deaf. I've also listened to these on the Fio X3 2nd gen. I've listened to FLACs and also MP3s, if that makes a difference to you guys. But I have to say that, again, on those reference songs that I really love and enjoy listening to, each one has given me joy and happiness. It always puts a smile on my head or on my face listening to all three of these headphones. They get the job done. And for their age, it's still spectacular to me, having and owning a piece of history. It's just something about that. And I always forget the YouTuber's name. It's like Metal743, I think. He made a quote on one of his videos, and he was talking just about how when the audiophile community has gotten just super duper crazy toxic lately, it's really hard for people to just remember what it is that headphones and speakers are trying to do for us, and that is just give us that, that experience of enjoying the music, and that's really what is important. Do you enjoy the music with the cans? I enjoy the music with all three of these. These are beautiful headphones. Make with that what you will. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video, this kind of lifestyle switcheroo. Should probably label my actual video references, but I'm horrible at this still. Thanks again for watching. Take care. Be safe. I'll try to update you guys on whatever stupid projects I might have coming up. I am trying to work on an orchestra piece, so I want to put that onto YouTube at some point. But yeah, take care, be safe. A video of the X35s will be coming, or the 35Xs, sorry. And I'll be comparing the 35Xs, the 400Is, and the 5XXs from Hi-Fi Man at some point as well in this kind of same style. So take care, be safe. Goodbyes.